Hello, hello, welcome in. It's Wednesday night at 9 o'clock. Mr. Philip Townsend. Man, Phil, we're going to have a great show. It's jam packed with
Yes,
some
sir.
stuff. We got state rankings dropping, we got
That's the
girls' rankings, we got boys'
that's the
rankings.
beauty. And we're
Oh,
looking good.
man. Oh,
We are
yeah.
looking good.
Yes, yes. So, I think with our packed show, I think we're gonna start out going around the city right quick because we've been checking in across the city. Give us a little one-eye scout State of the Union address.
Yes, sir.
And let's start out with Harlan. Harlan's been strong to start off with. They're young. They're still young. But Monty Francis coming in his own. But let's talk about it, man. London Jackson is taking the state by storm.
Yeah. Okay.
And
No, you go ahead. You go ahead. You go ahead.
I was just gonna say, with the combination of 6'5", shoots the ball well, and will take you to the rack and try to dunk inside you. I mean, he's a force to be reckoned with. And he's just a ninth grader, just class of '29. But he's making noise. A freshman, he got his first offer from UTEP.
Right.
We know that UTEP's got the eyes in San Antonio. With Donnie Chris and Delano going over there.
Right.
I know in that area, they've been taking a look at Amani as well. But what's your first takeaway from London Jackson?
Well, I think you said it. I would say that when you look at him as a freshman, we got a chance to see him earlier, going against we'll say the big boys, and the first game a little tentative on it. I'll say that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But after that, it was like that was the warm up. He had his super salad, and then he said, "You know what? This next game, I'm going to go eat." And he showed what he could do then.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's no surprise. It's no surprise, Kat. We already talked about him on previous shows because this is something that you could see it going and it's coming to fruition right before your eyes as a freshman. UTEP is smart to jump right on it because when some other people come, UTEP can always say, "Hey, we were there when no one else was there, and we caught you, as a freshman."
We got a chance to watch Amani when he was young, as a freshman with Brennan. He transferred over, and we got to see his progression. But a name that we haven't really talked about a lot is Tristan Collins. And here recently, man, he really, really shot the ball really well. Not that I'm surprised, but that's another name to talk about with Harlan.
Harlan, you like Harlan?
I do.
Yeah,
I do. But I think, Jay-Z, Zachary De Leon, with his side-to-side defense and, Jordan Mangum, but really, Zachary is really showing to be a strong asset to that team. And we'll go over those rankings in a little bit, but, I think Harlan's ranked like number 18. And the state rankings that we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about the TABC ones. I know Gasso put theirs out just recently, but we're gonna maintain with the TABC ones. But before we get Coach Kyle a little pissed off at us, let's go ahead and talk about Brennan.
Brennan. I think I like Brennan.
Oh yeah, I think I like him too. They're ranked number 25 in the country. They're back on the national scene again. And I think personally, go ahead.
No, when you said they're back on the national scene again, and look, Kingston is having a good time down in Houston, and that's only going to make it that much better, showcasing what Brennan can do. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I agree with you, man. And when you think about, they got the guys going to UTEP. Got Talon going to Austin P. Waiting on Zeke to make his choice, and then you start looking around, and Brennan is ranked, number 25. And the reason I think their style of play, is a national style of play, because they have a damn near traditional college lineup.
Exactly.
And football just got over with.
Well, yeah, you're right, Kev. When you talk about that lineup, though, if you're looking, I bet you said, is this the Knicks walking out with Patrick Ewing?
Yeah, man. And they're just going to get stronger, because time, with time, he'll be 6-man, 7-man if he's not in the rotation. And then Aiden Martin ended up the year as a starter, so that's adding more punch to that group, So Coach Cowrie will take a breath. I'm not gonna say what I said last year. I'm really excited about your team and what they're gonna do this year. And we talked about Kingston, but let's talk about Camden Cowgill. Went to West Texas A&M, and they came in ranked number 13 in the country right now. So you got West Texas A&M 13. Right here at home, nobody's talking about it, but St. Mary's is ranked number 9 in the country. But let's, we talked about being in the city, we talked about getting around, but let's talk about what we've seen in the gyms between San Antonio and Austin. Because we've seen a lot of travel. We've seen Houston. We've got Wagner going down to Houston. We've had Harlan go down to Houston. We've had Brennan go down to Houston. We have
they didn't just go down there, though, Cam. They represent.
No, they went down. Yep. And that's the good thing, man. Like,
you better recognize. San Antonio, better recognize.
Wagner's played some tough games. The record took some lumps, but I'm sure they'll get it together by the time district runs around. But they're gonna be a tough district, man. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I do want to talk about our newsletter, and I'm gonna plug it right here. Go to the One Eye Scout homepage and scroll to the bottom and hit on the Player Pulse. That will get you signed up for our Player Pulse newsletter, and that's for parents and players. And with that, you're going to get some recruiting tips. You're going to get some no BS, no fluff information.
It ain't for everybody.
It ain't for everybody, man. But we're going to talk about competing. That's what we talked about today on a little 2-minute clip. Somebody needs to go look at the shorts. Go ahead.
Yeah, Cam, but I just want to say to the people, and it's not because I'm on a show, but all the information, all the great information that you can get just by going to the One Eye Scout sites that he's telling you to go to, I guarantee you are going to get a plethora of information about what's going on, the players to see. And look, if you're a player going to it, you know what you got to do. You gotta ball out to get the call out.
There you go. I like it. Hey, so let's go ahead and hit those rankings, man. We're going to talk about 6A first. We talked about Brennan, 24 in the country, but they're ranked number 3 in the state right now. And they're very, very tough. Judson has shown some grit and toughness, and they're going to go as far as those guards take. They still their physicality, and we're just waiting on Jameel Garland to get released and get back into the groove, because their defense is going to carry them. Everyone was talking about the offense, but it's that defense. You got 6th man of the year, in my opinion, Chris Howell, coming off the bench. He's chaos in a cup. You know, I mean, he instantaneously starts turning people over. You know, and then we'll talk about, you know, Harlan at 18. You know, they play very strong, and it feels like their rise is gonna be sustained. You know, but they've got depth and pieces, and they're only gonna get stronger as they get older. You know, and we'll talk about, you know, which 16 team do you feel has the most upward mobility?
Well, given that Brennan's there, I can't move. I can't move him too much. You know,
yeah.
I think it's going to be out of Steele and Judson, and talking about that physicality and how tough and defensive minded they can be, and you know, in that guard play, you know, it's one of those things where it's going to come down to who can generate that extra point, right? To get it, who can come with the better offense that time. And I'm going to look and say, and I'm just going to go out on them because I don't want to do it. I'm just going to say, just steal. I'm going to say, just steal. You're not going to. Yeah, that's what I'm going with. Because, look, as long as you do like anything else, defense carries. You know, so and both of them are going to be there bringing it. So I think they got a chance anywhere it goes.
All right, so right now we need everyone, when you're watching this, go to YouTube, hit the playlist. The playlist is going to be OES 24/7, and that's going to be a continuous loop of content. And so it's going to be free. All you got to do is go follow it, subscribe to the channel, and you'll be helping a brother out. So, all right, let's roll down into the boys, 5A and 4A. You know, and before we forget, 3A, Cole is ranked 3rd in the state. They didn't make my list, so I want to make sure I put them out there. But you know, Eric Powell is a doghouse kid there at Cole, and I've been putting in work. You know, but let's start at the top, man.
Well, you're starting at the top. You know I like the coach. Alamo Heights. You know I love the way that all of them, that team as a whole, has bounced out of the gym. They can get up and go, and they're going to hustle. So yeah, I like Alamo Heights.
You know, man, so we're going to talk about Heights, but I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about the Central Catholic Jefferson game. But before you do, remember Central Catholic beat Alamo Heights.
Right
before Alamo Heights beat Austin Westlake.
Yeah.
So go proceed.
Kevin, I had the opportunity to see an anomaly, something I have never, ever, ever seen in my life. And I guarantee you, I will not see it again. Watching the Central Catholic Jefferson boys basketball game. First of all, we were watching another game, and by the time we made it there, a few minutes late, we missed the starters for Central Catholic playing, because at that point, in those first few minutes of the game, several minutes of the game, the score was already 23-0. And I'll make this a short story. Jefferson didn't score any points the first half. I had the opportunity to watch them most of the first half and all of the second half. And they barely cracked double digits. But the thing is that the reason I've never seen anything like this is they can play. They have skills. I don't know why the ball refused to go in the basket. Good rotation on the ball, shooting. The basket didn't show, falling short. hitting and bouncing off the rim. The layups didn't go for them. But the thing is, the way that they could handle the ball, they could dribble the ball. They could whip the ball around the court. You could not say that they aren't well coached. For whatever reason, that game, nothing was going in the basket for them. But I can tell you right now, it's not because they don't have any skills. That's what made this so amazing to me, Cat.
Yeah, and I told you earlier, like I text Coach Vela, and I said, man, you'll never have another game like that. And we don't sugarcoat things on this show.
Yeah.
That's what made it so crazy is like we both sat there in amazement,
Amazed.
But we'll move on. We talked about Wagner going down to Houston several times, played some tough games, didn't come back with the wins they wanted. Their record is 1-5, but they're not going to feel sorry for them. Don't nobody feel sorry for them because they're still ranked number 17 in the state.
Right.
So they got to turn things around. But I think there's a team at Piper at number 20. Their only loss this year is against Heights, and a close one. And so that's going to be, remember that dynamic of that district. You're going to have Veterans Memorial, you're going to have Wagner, you're going to have Heights, you're going to have Piper, and you're going to have New Braunfels, who's ranked number 22 in the state. So, that's a treacherous road right there. And then
you like New Braunfels last year, and you talked about them when we were at an outing and how you expected some big things from them this year. So
they went from 6A to 5A.
Yeah, and Piper, I didn't get a chance to see them last season, but I'm trying to think who they beat that I didn't expect them to beat, and I said, yeah, well, I guess they can. I guess they're balling.
Yeah. You know what, man? But some additions. Mason Thomas, the Air Force signee.
Yeah.
Then you have Luke Garrison that was at Reagan, transferred over for his senior year as a 6'3" point guard and lefty shooter. They had Sam Medina. They got Welch, Parker. So they got some pieces.
Yeah. When you say Mason Thomas, though, that's.
Oh yeah, that's big boy right there.
Yeah.
So he just had 1,000 rebounds in the last week, and he's very close to 2,000 points. So he's going to be 2,000, 1,000 before he graduates. And I do want to shout out Davenport in 4A. They're ranked number 25, which they're a team in 4A, not just basketball, because it's in girls basketball, it's in football, that they're in the playoffs all the way around. And so that's been a good look for an up and coming program in Comal. But we can be a man of intrigue here. We're gonna talk about the girls' rankings and how it just got shaken up Monday night. Yeah, or Tuesday night. One of the nights. Because at the top of the food chain was Brennan at number 2. But Sotomayor won the head-to-head contest, district play, the other night. And, they're rising fast. They got a Jordan Pete, doghouse girl that's I've seen her work since she was a youngin'. And she told me over the summer they're going to take Brennan. And, I looked at that score and I was like, well, sure, shit, she did. And but that was a great game, and then what's interesting, the next two teams we're going to talk about, Harlan girls, ranked number 18, just like the boys. Judson girls, ranked number 23. So San Antonio is not lacking for some basketball talent.
Right.
But I'm gonna talk to you about my girl Nia. Nia over at Wagner just scored 1,000 points, and Wagner is ranked number 1 in the state. Wagner girls. That's significant because they've been a powerhouse, But for so long, it's been them and Judson, and that's a great matchup at any time. But Wagner girls been putting on, and then we can talk about an up and comer in Smithson Valley girls. They're 10-0, and I didn't see that one happening.
Well, Kev, that's territory you're familiar with.
Yeah, but we've been lacking for a while. But I know the young lady's name just escapes you right now, but I know they've got one college signee playing girls basketball, and when I first moved out here 20-something years ago, they were really good girls basketball. So it all comes back around. But over there in that John Jay district, San Antonio McCullum comes in at 21. And we're throwing up that Davenport girls coming in at number 17 in 4A. So, any given night, you can find a home game of a ranked team in the city that you can go watch. It's just going to be, is it a home game or away game? And, so that's going to be exciting.
Kev, you just said something. You just said the John Jay girls and their ranking.
No, that's McCullum's ranking.
I mean McCullum in the John Jay area. We have not mentioned anything about John Jay, and we watched John Jay all last season.
On the boys' side, they got 6'5", 6'6" Elijah Hubbard.
Right.
And we'll see how far they can go. We'll get out there to talk.
We like watching them last
year. Yeah, we did, and for coming up, we talked about some of our scheduling, and I'll just be really honest. My daughter's been fighting migraines for about 6 weeks now. And so we've been at home putting family first, and that's what's going to happen. But when district settles in, and even when the Christmas break, we'll start hitting games on Tuesday, Fridays, and you and I talked about coming home and getting on the show and going ahead and doing those after the game. And then we'll still do our Wednesday night live show, so it remains our anchor show. But we're going to be talking about more games, more students, more players, more athletes, more scouting. Because
Kev, what makes that good is, we can always talk about the feature players and things that people know, but right then that night after that game, we're going to be talking about the players that did their thing that night. See, that's going to be the difference between it now and us talking about the players that people readily recognize.
Yes, and that's one of the things that you and I talked about wanting to do. And so that kind of explains how we're expanding on our content. We're going to have those punchy truth in the trenches clips, about 2 minutes a piece, because I really think that there's some misnomers and some misinformation, and I'm just going to put it out here again. You cannot score 22 points, 24 points in a game and not cross half court in transition. And you can't watch somebody throw a lob over your head and expect to be a Division I player. It doesn't happen. And that's where coaches will take a competitive athlete over a non-competitive, talented person 10 times out of 10.
Yeah. Because you can't get excited when it's your turn to get the ball on offense.
Right. Right. You
can't get your high energy there. You gotta have it all the time.
And let's just, man, we just gonna keep throwing punches right now. So I see a lot of people, like, I see different quote unquote services that are just posting, hey, go put your huddle film on this post because this coach is asking for it, or this coach is asking for it, or hey, this guy came to my camp, so I must have helped him get his Division I scholarship. And so that's some misinformation out there. And I just want people, like, if you so choose to do it, sign up for the newsletter. If you want to stay in the know, the newsletter is where the long-term truth lives. And in that, you'll be given an opportunity for $59 to buy a verified coaching database created by me, verified by me once a month of every college coach, NAIA, NJCAA 1 through 3, and NCAA 1 through 3 for every forward-facing, public-facing email. And if you go on that site and you pay your $60, you can also look down and there's some templates for free for you to go ahead and add those to your bucket for free. And if you don't want to pay the $59, there's also an opportunity to go get those free templates. As a parent, put the ownership in you and your child and quit trying to play the lottery that your ticket's going to get pulled. And so I'll get off my soapbox, man, but that just drives me nuts when people are saying that they are a recruiting coordinator of this or that, and and then whenever I post about, hey man, I talked to this guy, and you want to message me and find out who, what school, what? Come on, man, do yours. I'm gonna do mine. Anyway, let's get to the closing topics.
And that was a soapbox by Mr. Kevin Howell, the one-eyed scout. You don't get that all the time, so you better enjoy it while you see it.
One thing, closing topics, community notes. Let's talk about in the city of San Antonio, we have some forwards, we have some bigs, man, but the guard play around the region, not just here, but in Austin, and surrounding areas. And, there's a young man out in Floresville, they're all over. And we watch them, we see them. And the early guard play is what's really trending around the region. And, this year, class of 26, we talked about it being the city of point guards, this year. And, we kind of got some pushback on the point guards that we were choosing. I chose the ones that fit my style of play. And as we're going around, if you go back and watch the Truth in the Trenches clips, or you go and listen to the Truth in the Trenches podcast, you will understand why some of y'all are not getting recruited. You're not tough. You're not competitive day in and day out. And that's what it's going to take. We talk about it's not for everybody. The college level is not for everybody. But my man JC talked about it the other day, that not everyone's going to play in college. For some, that's not their goal. But the fact that athletics, sports, saves lives. Whenever we got into this, it was about keeping kids off the street. And so let's not lose focus on that. You know, and it's like my man Coach Willie said, basketball can be for everybody. It might be at the JV level. You might not get past the freshman level, but the game is always there for you to enjoy.
Yeah, at the rec and the church level.
Oh, yeah. You know, they got intramurals, you know. So, all right. We're winding up here. And you're watching the One Eye Scout with Mr. Philip Townsend, the sidekick. And the final push, go to the oneeyescout.com, scroll to the bottom, sign up for the Player Pulse. That's the newsletter. Don't wait for someone else to tell you what's happening. Get it directly from us. We thank you